Sophie Cunningham hit the floor hard. A scramble for a loose ball, bodies flying everywhere, and then it happened. Julie Vanloo reached across and grabbed her by the neck. No whistle. No review. Just silence. Sophie got up, dusted herself off, and smiled. It wasn't the kind of smile that said everything was okay. It was the kind of smile that said she knew exactly what was going on, and she wasn't going to let it break her. This was more than just another game for the Indiana Fever. This was a statement opportunity, a chance to prove that their recent 3-game winning streak wasn't a fluke. They had just shocked the league by beating 3 of the top teams back-to-back. The Dallas Wings, Minnesota Lynx, and the reigning champs Las Vegas Aces had all fallen, and the Fever looked like a team that had found their identity. Even more impressive, they did it without Caitlin Clark. The rookie phenom had been sidelined with a groin injury, watching from the bench as her team stepped up in her absence. But then came the Los Angeles Sparks, a team with one of the worst records in the league. The Fever had already lost to them earlier in the season. This was supposed to be redemption. Vegas had the Fever favored by 6.5 points. ESPN gave them a 73% chance of winning. On paper, this game wasn't supposed to be close. Instead, it turned into the most controversial loss of the season, a devastating 89-87 collapse that unraveled in the final minutes. And at the heart of the chaos was a string of calls, or non-calls, that left players, fans, and coaches stunned. Caitlin Clark's absence was felt immediately. Without her pace-setting presence, the offense slowed. Aaliyah Boston wasn't getting the same touches in the post, and the passing sequences that had elevated the Fever from a bottom-tier squad to a rising powerhouse suddenly felt forced and hesitant. Still, they had the pieces. Boston was dominant. Natasha Howard was clinical. Kelsey Mitchell was locked in. They had more than enough talent to get the job done. But this game wasn't going to be decided by talent alone. With 5 minutes to go, the Fever were up by 6. With under 2 minutes left, they led by 4. And then it all began to fall apart. The final minute was a masterclass in frustration. 5 straight missed shots, several blown defensive assignments, and perhaps most critically, a complete collapse in officiating integrity. The turning point came when Julie Vanloo clamped her arm around Sophie Cunningham's neck during a dive for a loose ball. It was obvious, brutal, dangerous, and it happened directly in front of the referees. Yet somehow, it was ruled a jump ball. No foul. No review. Just play on. Sophie didn't react with rage. She didn't shove. She didn't yell. She smiled, because deep down, she knew what everyone watching knew, that the game had stopped being fair. And that wasn't the only instance. The refs spent more time reviewing clean defensive plays, like Sydney Colson's textbook block, than addressing the actual fouls happening in real time. Players were being thrown to the floor with no consequences, while touch fouls were called on the Fever stars. Aaliyah Boston, despite being one of the league's most disciplined defenders, was in foul trouble again. It's become a recurring theme. Anytime Boston gets physical, she's penalized. Yet when others rough up Indiana's players, the whistles vanish. And it wasn't just Boston. Kelsey Mitchell couldn't get a call. Sydney Colson was hacked on a fast break. Lexi Hull got elbowed and stepped over. Yet somehow, the calls always went the other way. By the fourth quarter, it was clear the refs had taken over the narrative. Coach Stephanie White, who usually keeps her cool, couldn't hold back in the postgame. Her words were simple and devastating: "We didn't get the calls." No excuses, just truth. The Fever stars did everything right. Boston had 23 points and 12 boards, shooting 9 of 17 from the field and 5 of 7 from the line. Mitchell added 19 points with clutch threes that kept the team alive late. Natasha Howard dropped 21 on 8 of 11 shooting, grabbing 9 rebounds and crossing the 2,000 career rebound milestone. These weren't just good performances, they were winning performances. But they weren't enough. Because the game wasn't played on equal footing. The officiating was more than bad. It was dangerous. When a player gets grabbed around the neck and no one does anything, that's not just a missed call. That's a message. And Sophie Cunningham heard it loud and clear. But she didn't let it shake her. After the game, Sophie spoke just 6 words that sent chills down every Fever fan's spine: "I stick up for my teammates." Those words hit different because they aren't just a slogan. They're a mission statement. Sophie has spent her entire season being the protector, the one who throws her body into the fire so others don't have to. Whether it's taking a charge, delivering a hard foul, or standing up for a teammate being disrespected, Sophie is always the one willing to take the heat. And because of that, she's become a target. Earlier this year, she was criticized for a hard foul on J.C. Sheldon. Analysts debated intent. Fans argued over whether she went too far. But the truth is simpler. Sophie Cunningham is the kind of player who shows up when the game gets ugly. And that's exactly what happened against the Sparks. She got grabbed around the face, thrown to the ground, and treated like it was nothing. And still, she smiled. Not because it was funny, but because she refuses to give these moments the power to define her. In a league where players like Dana Bonner walk away when things get tough, Sophie doubles down. She doesn't run from adversity, she becomes the shield against it. She calls herself the glue that holds the team together, bridging the gap between the veterans and the rookies. She brings energy when morale dips. She reminds her teammates that even when things feel hard, they get to do what they love for a living. That perspective matters more than ever now. Because this loss, as painful as it was, revealed something deeper. It showed that the Fever aren't just riding Clark's wave, they're building something stronger. A foundation of heart, toughness, and sacrifice. The kind of culture that doesn't fall apart under pressure. The kind that learns from defeat and comes back even stronger. Sophie's 6 words will echo throughout the rest of this season. Not just in highlight reels or post-game interviews, but in every tough moment when the team needs someone to step up. She doesn't need to score 30 or grab 15 boards to lead. Her leadership comes in the form of a promise, a vow to stand tall when others fall back. Now, as the Fever sit at 9-9, waiting for Caitlin Clark to return, this team is still very much alive. The playoff race is still wide open, and reports suggest Clark could be back as early as Wednesday against the Golden State Valkyries. With Clark's return, the dynamic shifts. But it's what this team has built in her absence that could make all the difference down the stretch. Sophie Cunningham's toughness. Aaliyah Boston's dominance. Natasha Howard's consistency. Kelsey Mitchell's leadership. This isn't just Clark's team. It's a team that fights for each other, win or lose. And when they win again, and they will, it'll be because of moments like this. Because of players like Sophie. Because of words that carry more weight than a scoreboard. I stick up for my teammates. That's not just leadership. That's legacy. If you believe in what Sophie brings to this team, drop a "Spicy Sophie" in the comments. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all notifications so you don't miss a single moment of the Fever's fight. Because this story is just getting started, and you'll want to be here when it all comes full circle.